All right, welcome back to 23 Degrees Sideways. Another 3-mile walk out here today. It's in the 90s because it's summertime and we're in the high desert. It's wonderful. Keep doing it. As a spiritual exercise path, I highly recommend walking in the outdoors. You're going to hear me say that a lot. But today we're going to talk about censorship. Over the last couple of days before recording this, several things have happened. Big YouTube names have had some pretty serious negative effects. Tim Pool, who is a centrist, non-ideological or non-combative reporter, has had one of his videos removed, just flat out removed, because it talked about an investigative journalism report. Basically, Project Veritas is out there to, expose what you could call fraudulent or lying activities in progressive groups. And there was a pretty big news report last week about active censorship of conservatives by staff members at a tech company. And Tim Pool reported on this. He just reported on this. He didn't go expose anybody, he didn't dox anybody, and his video got removed. And at the same time, Stephen Crowder, I think, who is going to talk about interviewing Tim on his channel about this investigative journalism, about the story, was told that doing an interview would be non-permissible by YouTube. And this is pretty bad. And then Black Pigeon Speaks, BPS, who is a very alternative right. I don't know if right-left really matches with us, but he's a very alternative social commentator. And he's less political than he is social. And he talks about economics and debt crises and economic crises just as much as he talks about anything that could be considered partisan. And his channel was taken down completely, just eradicated, just moved. And then the people on Reddit who instigated this had a big success party and started figuring out who they were going to target next. And that is where I have to start drawing lines, drawing sides, picking sides. There are a lot of people in we can call this a right-left issue because that's how most people are portraying it. Most people on the progressive side are portraying it as alt-right, right-wing, conservative. The enemy is never left enough. They're the ones defining it as right-left. So I'll go ahead and run with that for a minute. And as far as it divides into right-left, I have to pick the right. And the reason I have to pick the right is because I do value information freedom. I do value equal opportunity. I do value honest and open education and information access. And right now the left is very much focused on controlling it. They want all the news in the hands of a few corporations. That's what's going on with the YouTube censorship. If you look at what's happening, YouTube is saying, yes, we'll promote channels owned by those 10 largest media conglomerates in the world. And we will randomly, freely demonetize, block videos, take down videos, or just flat out ban channels that aren't part of that. Any information that is disagreed with. A history teacher who taught World War II history and had a bunch of videos of newsreels of the German government at the time has had his channel removed completely, because he provides access to information that should not be known, that no one should know. They're erasing history. So, once again, not the goal of this channel to be political, but I really want to stress this, okay? When I started this channel project and I came up with the idea, one of the things I wanted to talk about was how the computing revolution, computer development had gone sideways, and possibly things we could do about it. And this is one of the extremely sideways, off-kilter, bad things. Okay? Our computing power is such that we should have functional supercomputers in our homes, in our cars at this point, that actually do things for us, not for marketing companies, not for tech companies. We should not be cloud computing. I should not rely on Google for a translation program and internet access for that Google translation program to actually work. None of this is all very sideways. But now we're dealing with active censorship, active restriction of information. We're reaching a point where if they have their way, I would have had better information flow in the late 80s when all the activists, the hackers, the phone freaks, all the alternative, libertarians at the time, all the alternative culture ran around Xeroxing fanzines. And I would get sent stuff from across the country, and I would have pen pals, and I would send them local stuff. And I actually had better information access, better alternative information access back then than what the left wants me to be able to access online today. Now, it's not that bad. It's kind of funky because between the 90% of everything is shit dictum, and the fact that most search engines or search tools are trying to guide you to their ideological answer, it's pretty bad. But you can find stuff. It's still better than running around with Xerox zines. But samizdat, the Russian version of the zine culture, samizdat is becoming a reality. It's becoming the case where if you're publishing something that the progressives, the left, the loud pro-corporate news media people don't agree with, you are automatically in an underground, you're automatically under attack, you're automatically subject to doxing. There are repercussions for having the willingness to say anything different. And it's not repercussions like, oh, you went and spit in someone's face and they punched you back, or you went and yelled at someone right 2 inches from their nose that they were a dirty something, and they hit you. That's a kind of a provocation repercussion. I can understand that, okay? We're talking about if I literally just say that I believe there's biological difference between men and women, and that the hormone balances, the functional genetics, the evolution indicates that there are just basic differences. That can cause people to try to end my life. No jobs, no money, no housing. What the hell? Okay, sorry. We've had this rant before, and I'm ranting again. But the last week has seen a large surge in how the censorship is happening. And if you look at the last 2 weeks, it's the gloves have come off, but the mask has also come off. The mask is very obvious. The focus is on pro-corporate media. The end of freedom, the end of the independent media, the end of independent information production. The fact that the progressives are championing this just really pisses me off. But I'll tell you, if you're on the left right now, you're on the wrong side. And that's about all there is to it. It's another ranty video, but a lot has happened in the past 2 weeks, and a lot of things have just come down, and the banning, the blocking, the demonetization, removing videos, removing entire channels, and putting out policies that you're going to pump up corporate media channels at the expense of individuals. It's pretty bad. It's pretty sideways. And right now, if you want a free internet, I suggest you start using every other alternative media delivery program source you can find. So, I'm on Minds, I'm on BitChute, I'm on YouTube. As soon as I get enough subscribers for them to ban me, I'll probably get banned, but like, share, subscribe. Maybe you should push out the independence a little bit more. stay sideways.